Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon podcast. And today we have a special guest with us, a brother of mine that I've met many times. And I'm very grateful to be part of his connections on LinkedIn. So let me do a quick introduction. So I have Dato Indera Dr. Ahmad Sabirin Arshad with us. So he is a prominent figure. If you follow him on LinkedIn, he posts multiple times a day, very active on LinkedIn. And when we had coffee and when we had lunch, I always love to talk to him about space and also about farming. So today we'll talk about these matters as well. So if you don't know already, he is actually the president and group CEO of SIRIM Berhad. Dato, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much. Okay, so as I start off this interview, this is the question I ask all my guests who are business leaders in Asia. What is your favorite Kung Fu movie?
Okay, my favorite has been, the all-time favorite has been Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee. And I think, in fact, I grew up with Enter the Dragon. I remember as a child going to the cinema. And in fact, I watched that many times. I'm not sure what fascinates me, but maybe the persistence of Bruce Lee in the movies. And when I look back, it is one of the all-time favorites for Kung Fu movies, Enter the Dragon. And it is still a big hit until today.
Yes, it is an amazing movie. And I think one of Bruce Lee's last movie before
it is 1 month before he died when it was released.
Oh.
And that's why it became such a top hits as well.
Yeah, I wish there were more Bruce Lee movies that are shown on TV now. So it's been a while. So now people only know Jackie Chan. So
yeah, Jackie Chan is good, but it has a funny character and Jet Li. But Bruce Lee has a different followers because he shows the man with persistence. The man he fights for some. He is a very serious persona in TV. He doesn't play a no-nonsense guy.
Yeah.
And I think the persistence is shown. And then if you imagine those days in the early 70s and 80s of those days, when Chinese movies, especially in Hollywood, is not making such a great stride yet. And to me, he is the one that makes inroad into Hollywood movies until today.
Yes, he is the pioneer, of course. And the next question I'll ask you is, have you watched Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer, I wanted to watch Oppenheimer. I read Oppenheimer. I know he's the father of bomb atom. My family has watched Oppenheimer.
You have not?
I'm not yet. I'm not watched Oppenheimer yet. I'm just waiting for the right time to be going to the cinema watching Oppenheimer. And but I've read the stories. I know who he was, and because being a scientist myself, I do follow up on in terms of all of this development in terms of atomic bomb and whatnot. So I do know of, and I just want to get the vibes from the films.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. I'll get you tickets. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the reason why I mentioned Oppenheimer, and I actually have watched it. It is very interesting that Oppenheimer started studying astrophysics. He started studying space. And from space, he studied dying stars, he studied explosions, and then that is how he went to discover the atomic bomb. Yes. Similar to a lot of inventions we have today. We have the microwave oven, we have a lot of things that first initially were things invented by studying space. So it is very similar to you. So you started a part of your career was in space. And I would ask my first question, which is, can you share about how space has influenced your career today?
All right, just if I were to go back in time, initially I started off a career as a seafaring, as a sailor. I was a marine engineer, and I'm very much interested in going to sea, and in fact I wanted to become a submarinist, and those were the good younger days. And then when I came back to Malaysia, and there were little opportunities, so when I go into academics, and there was an opportunity to go to do space, and I took up that challenge to do space for the countries. That was in the early 90s, when nobody talked about space yet. And it is never by design. I always say to people, it is by accident that I do space. It was never intended to do space. And even though during my younger days as a young kids, I watched the Jetson family. I think Bob, you are still too young to remember Jetson family. And when they travel from planet to planet and walking the dogs in the evening and whatnot. So that gave me the excitement when I started to do space for the countries, initiating the space programs. So I think the journey is very wholesome experience. But maybe one of the most highlight in my days doing space is when we work with Elon Musk, when nobody knows who Elon Musk was at the time. And I gave him a call and went to see him, and we worked throughout like 6-7 years with Elon Musk. And the one thing that we like to wish to tell maybe the listeners as well is that he spent all his money to do space, and Malaysia, and we were his first commercial customers. And because of us, he succeeded to become what he is today. And Malaysia has contributed so much in terms of his development because we trusted in him. He failed a few times in the early stages of the launch, but we stayed with him, we believe in him until he succeeded. And because of that, NASA trusted him to give him the bigger $1 billion contracts to do bigger rockets. So I think the journey is wholesome, is enriching, and it is definitely an inspirational for me. And I hope that it gives Malaysians and the young people as well in Malaysia that they can do almost everything if they put their minds right. And in fact, we did this program with Elon Musk. We did programs Tiongsak on the near equatorial, the first one in the world. Malaysia is not a follower but a leader in space during those days, and we even launched the first Angkasawan to space as well. And in fact, those are the exciting moment. I've seen a few launches of the rocket in Baikonur, in Kwajalein, in India, and those are another awesome experience, which is not many people got to experience, to witness the actual launch of a satellite on a big rocket. So those are the exciting parts of my life as an early man, as a young man.
Thank you, Dato. You should be in the Netflix documentary. I watched the Elon Musk Netflix documentary. They never a mention about Malaysia at all.
Maybe we should have our own Netflix version of our own version as well, because in fact we have contributed so much for him. And nobody knows that we were the one who made sure that he stayed afloat, because he spent all his money. He spent $200 million of his own money building that first rocket, and he doesn't have any more left. And then we saved him basically. So Malaysia saved him, and Malaysia made what he is today, $1 trillion man.
Wow! Yes, we made him the richest man in the world. All right.
We should make another Malaysian another unicorn as well.
Yeah, and what about today? Today, are you excited about space?
No, I'm still working on space. In fact, last night I still had meetings on space development for the countries. And what saddened me the most is that I've seen that we are regressing. We used to be the most advanced countries in ASEAN, in Southeast Asia, number 1 in ASEAN, and number 5 in Asia Pacific. That was the survey done by Frost Sullivan, and now we see that when we are regressing, we are behind Vietnam, we are behind all of these countries. I feel very sad. And now, having left, I'm coming back with my all other colleagues that has done space. We're trying to put things back for Malaysia, trying to put the position back, try to create new wealth for the countries, and to try to get a new excitement again for the countries moving forward for space. Because the next, why it is not about space, but it is about technology advancements. Because space is where you put in all the latest technologies, the frontier technologies in terms of AI, ML, IoT. This is where you test. And people ask me, why do you spend so much money in sending medical experiment to space? I said, if you do medical experiment in space, for example, for cancer cell growth, it can be done within a week. whereas it takes 10 years for that cancer cell to be grown on the ground because of gravitational pull. So you can do a lot of medical development, and this one has so much contribution. And sometimes we often forget, by going to space, we are solving a lot of problems on the ground. And people do not see that connectivity, but the spin-off is so much more, because you want to get something which is lighter weight. You want to get the Kevlar that we have today is all part of the space development, the electronics, the computers on board. And remember, many years ago, our computers are as huge as a building, the mainframe. Now it is a tiny micro mobile phone. So these are the excitement that I see pushing technology forward. And having said that, when I am at SIRIM now, I'm pushing that frontier technologies, and that gives me the excitement about pushing the boundaries. And I like to see Malaysians enjoying technologies to advance their life, and most importantly, to make sure that the GDP goes up beyond 5%, so we can become the high-income nation very, very soon, but at least by 2030.
Yes, I love that, Dato. You are a man of action. I know you're not just talking the talk, you're also walking the walk.
I hope I'm walking the talk, and then we hope to enable all Malaysians, regardless of their racial backgrounds, without their religion background. We want to make sure that everybody, every Joe on the street, the last Joe on the bridge, is affected by technologies. We want to see that Malaysia is a melting pot where you can make money without having to go abroad as well. And we see this the new economic model that was launched by the Prime Ministers last week, the Madani economic model. We'll see that Malaysia become the high-income nation by 2030. And if you see the reports by the World Bank and whatnot, Malaysia will surpass Singapore by 2035. So you imagine that today the salary is so much more in Singapore, and sooner or later we are going to be having high currency than Singapore. So give us some time for the countries to reboot itself, to reset itself, and we can see the high income, high value industries into the countries. And I'm very excited to be part of this ecosystem. I wanted to see the minimum wages is no longer B40. I'm hoping to see the young graduates is being paid M40 salary. I like to see much more companies doing well. They go global. They can pay more tax to the government. So Malaysia can become part of the top 30 nations in the world, and that is the aspiration by the Prime Minister that he set forth last week. And I hope that we can realize this one for Malaysia. So the younger Malaysians, they can be proud of to be part of Malaysia, and we are the top 30 countries that is doing well in the world.
Thank you, Dato, for your hard work and all the aspirations. I really see your passion towards the country. And as the president and group CEO of SIRIM Berhad, you mentioned you are pushing frontier technology. So what are you excited about as the president?
In fact, we are pushing the boundary beyond electric vehicle for today. We are pushing toward hydrogen economy. We're moving towards the hydrogen technologies. And EV is sexy and exciting as is today, but we are looking at the future of technologies, which is hydrogen. And hydrogen is something that we have to manage carefully because it is highly explosive. So but the future will be with hydrogens. Can you imagine the renewable energies that we are exploring today? And this is, if we can push hydrogen as a next energy source for the countries, Malaysia will be ranked highly as well. And I'm happy to see that Sarawak is doing this, the first train in the world using hydrogens, and TNB and Petronas also signing up the development of hydrogen. SIRIM also taking initiative to do hydrogen as well. So if we can put all this expertise together, Malaysia can take leadership again. Because Malaysia shouldn't be the followers of technologies, but Malaysia must become the leaders of technologies. And this is, I put my money in hydrogens anytime.
Yes, from atomic to, like Oppenheimer, atomic to hydrogen later, yes. Right? So yeah, I also met your team, Dato, and you have an amazing team, very hardworking team like yourself as well. How would you describe your leadership style?
I am more a people person, and I'm not the one who just talk from the office, but I go down and try to understand what is required, by all the colleagues at SIRIM, especially. And I have this motto that I have been promoting at SIRIM, that all leaders must be having this motto, this mantra: empathy beyond expectations. We must also empathize with all the colleagues at SIRIM. We must understand what are the issues. We must know the pain points and try to solve as much problem as possible so they can focus at work, give the 100%. Because I said, your workplace is your number one home. Your home is your home as your number two home, because you spend more time at work rather than at home. So if you have no issues at home, you can focus your work much more. And I'm looking more at quality. And now, because we are promoting this hybrid ecosystem, people don't have to spend hours in the traffic to come to the office. If they can spend their work from home, we encourage them to do work from home, because we want to minimize the carbon emission as well. Because we are also pushing for the net carbon zero, and we got to become the responsible citizen to make sure that this net carbon zero is also being achieved. So there's a lot of things that is being done. And in fact, if we talk about SIRIM offerings, SIRIM services, SIRIM wanting to do the champion of ESG, SDGs, and the carbon trading and whatnot, that's another topic altogether that we have to speak about, because that is a huge topic altogether. But in this little time that we have, I know that Malaysia is pushing towards that one, and SIRIM is very happy and excited to be part of the ecosystems of the sustainability for the countries.
Yes, sustainability, the most important word in 2023, and very important and for the companies and so businesses in Malaysia. So I really love your passion, and even like for the audience, I didn't send the questions to Dato before this call. I asked him the questions and he so passionately answered me today. So I really love, he has a wealth of knowledge. So my next question would be, what are your main sources of inspiration in life? It can be books, it can be leaders, can be people in your life.
No, actually, my inspiration in life is actually I'm a simple person with a simple needs, and some people know that I have an orchard as well. I have an orchard and I have farms as well. So I like to spend my times in my orchards, look at my durian trees, or look at my lambs and goats and my chickens and whatnot, chicken coop, and that give me it will be my new source of income as well. But then it's also is therapeutics from the hustle and bustle of the busy life of office and being the CEO, running the shows and managing different conflicts and managing issues. But I think having these farms, agriculture is definitely something that I look forward to. Maybe in my next life, if I have the choice to do so, and because I think that is something. Because I see Malaysia is very much still an agriculture country, even though we aspire to become the industrial nation. But food security is one of the important aspects. And I see that if we can put the thing together with the industry, technologies, and agriculture, wow, we can be so much independent in terms of what we can do. And the export of food, because people do it every single day, every single time. And Malaysian loves food. And that one is a $1 billion business by itself. So I'm so passionate about all of this, and I like to see technologies being implemented as well.
Amazing. I always say this, Dato, that you are a person in space, in the skies, but also you are very down to earth. I can talk to you a lot about things. I also aspire to one day be a fisherman or to be a farmer.
Fisherman is good. I used to have this red snapper, garupa, and whatnot, and I love being in the ocean. I love being in the quietness or in isolation in the oceans, and I love those peace environment.
Yes. So this is a question maybe you don't get asked a lot. Can you tell us about your farm? What do you have there? Do you have? I remember you have durian, am I right? And
I have durians. I got a few other fruits tree as well. Then, but
how big is the farm?
Altogether is maybe about 6-7 acres, 8 acres altogether. Not so big, but not too small as well. And then I got cows. I got goats. I got rabbits that is being bred commercially. and I got some chicken, ayam kampung chicken, and then I also got some deer, and then also I got the what do you have one? I got the ayam Belanda,
Turkey.
turkey, and then I got the turkey as well. So these are no this remind me of kampung, and being a kampung boy coming from the villages years ago, and this is definitely a peace of mind for me. Being isolated, looking at my agricultures, and that give me peace of mind. And see now I see the flowers at the durian trees, even though there's no durian fruit yet, but that give me that satisfaction. Whatever that you have done many years ago is now bearing some results. So I think just like in life, whatever that you do consistently will bear some results at the end of the day. But you just got to keep on pushing and never quit. And I said this again, and I think I posted on my social media as well. Quit is a 4-letter word, and I'm never a quitter. So I think everybody must keep on going to achieve whatever that they achieve in life, because you will achieve it someday if you believe you can, because nobody can stop you, because at the end of the day it is your mind that will stop you from achieving anything. So you must be very positive about doing it.
Oh, that is so profound. I didn't ask for wisdom, but so much wisdom come of it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think the interesting one was you said you have deer, you have rabbits, and then you have ayam Belanda. These are for food, is it, these three?
No, it's not just for food. I'm selling this one as well.
Okay.
And I'm doing my own processing. I can do my own slaughtering. I can do my own processings, and somewhat I'm gifted that sort of skill as well. So I am a multi-skilled person, perhaps inside my corporate world, but in the kampung nobody knows that I'm the corporate CEO. I'm just another kampung person doing all these kampung businesses, and I just like to talk to people. And if I send my chickens to the orang kampung, I talk to them about the issues, because I think it is important to understand, to listen, to hear what are the issues on the ground. Only then it can translate into being the proper CEO. It doesn't have to be a good farmer as well, but at my level as a CEO, I understand so much more on the ground and understand what are the issues of the agriculture, of the industries at large. And I think it is important for any leaders not to be disconnected from the reality of issues of the people on the ground. Because to me, Bob, I think we discussed this one, as long as we touch the heart, the mind, and the pocket of the people, we are doing good in terms of moving forward as a country.
Amazing! Wow, so many punchlines there, so many powerful quotes there. And yeah, so last question, so before we go, is if you go on LinkedIn or you go on Facebook, you'll find Dato's post. Besides the farm, you'll find him making teh tarik and roti canai sometimes. So let's say if we were to go to a mamak today, what is your favorite thing to order, from the drink to the food?
Normally, whenever I sit down, it is always the teh si kosong. Nescafe si kosong.
Okay.
Nescafe si kosong, and the mamak will know that this is my drink, and then it will come to me without being asking. Then I have my roti telur as well. And if I don't have my roti telur, I will have a roti canai plus the half-cooked eggs, half-boiled eggs.
Yes.
So this is something that I will enjoy having it almost daily.
Wow.
So that's my, and then I'm trying to do all this roti and then ABC and whatnot, because to me we need to understand that it is not so easy. It's easy to see that people make this roti canai, but it needs a skill to do roti canai. It takes some sort of skill to do it. So I appreciate the difficulties, and that's why I'm doing it, because I want to understand the complexities of making a roti canai, a simple roti canai. But it takes a lot of efforts to do one roti canai to satisfy the stomach of the customer.
Yeah. For the listeners, roti canai is our Malaysian staple food, right?
And
The
even
poor,
one of the favorite food in Atlas Food as well, listed
Mm.
by internationally.
yeah, yeah. Have you tried roti sarang burung, Dato?
I tried roti sambrong, but still mine is still roti canai. It's still I'm going to basic. I like no frill, nothing. I'm not adventurous in terms of having tried to a lot of food. I like to stick with what I used to be having years ago.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, my favorite is that, but yeah, roti telur is good as well. So yeah, last question before we go. So as you know, we're connected on LinkedIn, and that's how we have been connected for years. So what is your advice to the people on LinkedIn? So last question, and then we go. So what is your advice?
No, when I always mention this to LinkedIn, I said, and people ask me that I posted so much things every single day, every single hours, and I said, why I'm posting so much? Because I'm learning so much as well. The moment that I put in a new posting, I'm learning that about the postings. And when I learn, it is firstly for me. And then when I share this one, because when I read, I shared, I understood. And then I'm hoping that the same sharing, the same understanding can be applicable to all the readers, all to my LinkedIn connection as well. Because I learned so much from the posting, because in fact, I'm using this as an icebreaker. I'm using this knowledge from the LinkedIn posting, my own LinkedIn posting and other LinkedIn posting to discuss it at the corporate level, to discuss with the ministers, to the ministries. And so it is a very powerful information if you really deep dive into that information. So use it wisely. Don't just look at the headlines, but deep dive into that real information, because there's so much more that you can understand.
Thank you, Dato. That is so gold. I say this word, so gold. It is very, very powerful there. So Dato, thank you so much for being on the show. It's short 30 minutes, but so much information and so much valuable content that we got out of there.
Thank you for having me, Bob. I'm looking forward to have more sessions with you in the future.
Sure. Thank you, Dato.
Thank you. Bye-bye.